Hey everybody, and welcome back. It's, what time is it, Nick?
Your time, it's 25 of 12.
25 of 12. For us Southern boys, it's 11:35.
Yeah.
I wanted to introduce you guys. Yeah, it's 11:35 at night. So what do you say, Nick? Let's give her a shot.
Good.
Let's see what she'll do.
Better than you to me.
What time is it?
It's 12:05.
Yeah, but you've been driving longer than me. So let's see what we got. Let's get her happy. Nothing sounds like a shovelhead. Not whatever. My man Nick here is a powerhouse. This guy, if you guys remember, it was
Oh, a year plus.
almost a year ago.
Yeah.
Almost a year ago, I put out an outcry.
Yeah.
Would that be
Yeah.
And I wanted to find someone that truly had a passion for motorcycles, that loved the motorcycles that they had. And I think the biggest thing, and feel free to correct me if I'm wrong, it's 11:30 at night.
Yeah.
How long have you been driving?
I think I started off at 5:45 Eastern time. East Coast time.
City and state?
Delaware.
Delaware.
Georgetown, Delaware.
Georgetown, Delaware, and it's 11:30 at night. This poor man has been driving for forever. He ended up in East Bum Nowhere.
Yeah, I was hearing banjos.
You're ignorant, Jones. You got a pretty mouth, boy. Anyway, so we started talking about a year ago, and what I did, if you guys remember, I put out a notice. I wanted to find a person that loved their shovelhead because I wanted an unmolested shovelhead.
Unmolested.
Unmolested. That was a big thing.
That was the big one.
And feel free to interject anytime. You're welcome to, because me and this guy are going to break bread and next Thanksgiving, right? So what I wanted was someone that I was really hoping to find that person that wanted a shovelhead to be returned to what it was from its factory original condition, with some exceptions.
With improvements.
With improvements.
With
Those
improvements.
exceptions.
With improvements.
We wanted it to be a reliable, no longer a troublehead,
Right.
but a shovelhead.
A shovelhead cross-country goer.
All right, so you're in the South. We got to call it a shovelhead.
Shovelhead.
No, shovelhead.
Shovelhead.
Shovelhead, because we're
Shovelhead.
in the South. So it's late, obviously. So this is, and I'm going to show you guys some more detailed pictures, but this is his 78 and
A half.
a half.
Which is the electronic ignition was introduced and took the points away.
And took the points away. That's exactly right. It is a kicker plus electric, et cetera, et cetera. And I'm going to let my friend here talk for a second, tell us about the bike and kind of what we're doing overall. But it's essentially, the idea is this bike has obviously been very well cared for.
It's been 10 years in one of my spare bedrooms in one of my first investment properties when I was doing real estate and working refrigeration, and I didn't ride it for 10 years. So it sat in its own bedroom for 10 years, unridden.
Did it sleep comfortably?
Oh, it was very comfortable.
It slept very comfortably. So really the idea is we're going to go, as you put it, tire to tire.
Right.
And the overall goal is to return this bike again to what it was in a factory original condition. We're going to go back to the original drag bars. And you know what? I'm going to show you guys something. Hang on a second. Tell them about your bike and how long you've owned it.
Okay.
So there's the camera right there. You tell them.
All right, so I probably acquired this bike probably in 1982. I'm the third owner. I knew the original owner. He was a little leery of it, a little scared of it, and he wanted to know if I knew anybody that could buy it. And a friend of mine that I grew up with, we both had 79 Sportsters, which you know are the bastards. So if we can put that on YouTube. So anyhow, he ended up buying it. He gave his Sportster to his brother in Indiana, and long story short, he ended up selling me or giving me the Low Rider. So I'm the third owner, and it's probably got under 70,000 miles on it originally. And she runs great, but we don't know how the inners are.
the inners are.
The
And we're
inners
going to
are,
find
and
out.
we're going to find out.
So I got to show you guys some really cool, and I don't mean to cut you
No,
off.
no, no, no,
I
you're,
apologize.
that's
I mean,
good.
I want to show you guys some really cool stuff. So it's little details with doing these restorations, things that I absolutely love. So these are the original drag bars. A lot of people think that all these old bikes came original with buckhorn bars.
No.
They didn't. So I got to show you this. These bars, fortunately, were taken off early enough that it still has the original sticker right here telling you to run .5 in this bike.
Correct.
That is cool. Because the first thing that everyone would do when they get these home, they
take them off,
they would
scratch
get
them
rid of all that crap. So one of the things we're going to try to do in this restoration is preserve this sticker and make these bars look as good as we possibly can, but preserve that sticker because it's cool as crap. But there's another thing I got to show you. So Nick tells me, do you have a service manual for this bike? And he brings me an original service manual. Now, the first thing I did,
Right.
correct,
Look for the notes.
I went to the notes section. I went straight back to the back. And when I got to the notes sections, I realized no one had written any notes yet. So I get to, with your permission,
Absolutely.
to be the first guy that officially leaves a note in Nick's original factory service manual for this bike to have serviced this bike. And I noticed a couple of other really cool things that we have in this.
Well, it's a lottery ticket.
It's a lottery ticket from 1986.
I didn't win. It's my bookmarker.
It's his bookmarker, a lottery number from 1986. So I get to be the first one to leave notes in his factory service manual. Now, Nick did tell me, of course, it's not in the greatest of conditions. But we're
No.
not worried about that.
No, we're not.
We're not worried about that. So I'm excited about that. Another thing I want to show you guys. When did it get changed to lace wheels?
I would say 2 years or less.
Okay.
My nephew wanted to buy the bike, and I said, absolutely not. I said,
Okay.
I got enough bikes. I'm riding them. This is not my daily rider. I got other bikes that I ride. I said, more than welcome to come, pick it up, take it to Virginia, take it to a shop, have them get it road ready, and ride it. And he rode it. And he rode it in Virginia, went back and forth to his job, and then when he moved to Florida, the cottonhead people down there he wasn't happy with, and he decided not to ride anymore, and I went down to Florida and picked it back up and brought it back home.
Excellent.
And that's where she is.
So I got to show you guys something. And you got to understand, being it's out of Florida, right?
He was in Florida.
Check this out. These are the original cast wheels that were on the bike. Yeah, they're not perfect, but they're not pitted.
Oh.
Take a look at that. The original cast wheels, which are awesome. So what we're going to do is we're going to do everything we can do to preserve the original powder coating on these. We're going to try to preserve the finish. But what gets me the most, remember the age of this. There's no crazy nicks in the side of these wheels, which is awesome. So he brought me the original wheels, the original bars. There are a couple of things that we don't have the originals of.
Correct.
Okay.
Carburetor.
The original carburetor, which we're going to talk about that one.
Right.
We don't have the original air cleaner cover.
Nope. No, I have to
Okay.
get the air box. I can't find it anyhow.
Can't find it. And we also don't have the original 2-in-1 exhaust,
Correct.
which
Correct.
was relatively unique. So Nick and I both are going to reach out to all of our YouTube viewers, 78 and a half, 1200.
1200.
If you happen to have a factory original air cleaner cover or 2-in-1 exhaust that would have been factory for this bike, do me a favor. Leave a comment, reach out to me directly, because
We'd love to have it.
we would love to have it.
Absolutely.
And they're not easy to find at all. No. I have to admit, I haven't personally, of course, I'm kind of a young guy compared to this old guy here. Of course, you look like you're 35.
Well,
but
thank you.
he's really 147, but I'm not going to tell you exactly how old he is. But I've never actually seen the factory 2-in-1 exhaust for 78 and a half. I've never seen one.
Well, they came out in 77, was the 2-in-1 as
77.
well. When it first came out with the Low Rider, it was 2-in-1.
Right. And I haven't seen a set. If you have a set, please leave a comment or reach out to me directly and let me know, and we can go from there. So, of course, the bike was originally black, okay? Mm-hmm. This was pretty much exactly how the tank decal was done back then. Of course, you'll notice that it's missing the AMF logo. It's missing the AMF. So, there's some trash in the tank. It's not so great. You're cleaning out filters all the time and all this kind of stuff. So, what my goal is to preserve what we can for originality, but at the same time, whatever happens, happens. We got to make the best of it.
It's going to be play it by ear.
Play it by ear. So we may end up having to maybe scuff or re-clear or maybe even repaint the tank, depending on what I can do with the inside to get all that cleaned out.
And I'm not 100% sure, but something's telling me that the original cover for the controls was a matte black.
Matte black.
Had that matte finish like what you see on the heads.
Okay. Well,
don't hold me to it. Because I think I remember putting this on and changing it.
You remember changing that? Okay. Correct. So, guys, please leave comments and such. So, what he's referring to is this here. If it were matte black, it would have been probably a texture.
Yeah, it was textured.
Powder coat.
Yep.
It would have been textured.
Yep.
If push comes to shove, we find the pictures, document that, run the history on the bike. We can turn that back to a textured powder coat finish. Okay. No big deal. If not, we just figure it out along the way, right?
Right.
But one of the things we're going to do, try to preserve the paint that's there, preserve budget, preserve a lot of other things. If it just has to be done, I can always paint it back black. We'll re-clear it, put the proper logo on it, and return that magic AMF.
Yeah.
AMF there.
AMF, another one.
Yeah, so we'll return that there. We're going to see a lot of, we know this is going to be a long-term project. Yeah, we know that.
I'm not going to be back next month.
I hope not. I hope not. So this is going to be a long-term project, and this is going to be a long series of videos because the overall idea with this is to preserve, again, the originality of the motorcycle, and kind of like what I did with the Kurt bike a little bit, where you still see external oil lines, but it's a pushrod tube oiler. So there's going to be some changes and upgrades that we make along the way to improve the reliability. We only want to do this once and you're done. Right. So, but we don't want to compromise the originality of the motorcycle nor the appearance of it. So
appearance is the main thing.
Appearance is the main thing. We want him to be able to roll up and a fellow look at this bike and go, man, it looks like it just rolled off the showroom floor.
Correct. That's what I'm looking for.
And you get to blast off a burnout and ride it to California and not have any worries. So it's no longer, it won't be a trouble head anymore.
No, it won't be a trouble head.
It'll just be a trouble head.
It'll be a Kevin head.
There you go. I'm digging it. So he also brought me a box of other parts. We have the original turn signals. We have, oh man, what else did you? You brought me all kinds of stuff. There's all kind of little parts and things that were in the box that he brought along with me. So brought along with him. So anyway, and it's got it's actually got a couple of really trick parts on it. So you guys have been around for a while. It actually has a Lockhart oil cooler on it. Yeah. All right, which was a must-have for these things back in the day. So that's really cool to have that.
I didn't bring the solid one. I had it in my hand. I'm like, he don't need it. It really got one.
That has to keep that sticker on there.
Oh yeah.
So that original Lockhart sticker that's on top of that, we're going to be very careful. We're going to remove that oil cooler. We're going to polish that not so great original chrome that it was. Right. But we're going to make it look awesome, and we're going to preserve that Lockhart sticker on the top, just because. Let's be honest, it's cool, right?
It is cool. And it helps the engine.
Is that the original lock?
I don't know if this is original, but it's in the air when I bought that.
Look at that. So, okay, so not all of you guys that watch the channel have been around for a very long time. Some of you came into the era long after fork locks became integrated with ignition switches and stuff like that. Well, back in the day, I'll put in a picture here somewhere. Back in the day, the factory just gave you a big hole in the side of the frame right here at the neck.
That could easily get busted out.
That could easily get busted out. And a big hole there on a bracket on the bottom of the lower tree with about that much metal?
Not much.
Yeah, not 3/8 metal.
Yeah.
If you had a decent hammer and a little bit of ambition, you pop that sucker off and you could roll.
Rode away with it.
So what everyone did, because the factory gave you the holes there in the frame and the lower, you just bought yourself a lock and you pop the lock in there. You didn't have built-in factory
Alarms and all that other
fork
stuff.
locks and all this other stuff. But you know what? It does have a Harley logo on it. It still has, it's number 220. It is officially a master lock, and it is case hard.
It's on.
This thing has to be, that's got to be from the 80s?
Yeah. That's when I bought it.
80s. From the 80s.
I hang it right there,
And it locked down on the side of the frame. You know, here's what's crazy. So you've obviously got a few years on it, right?
yeah, a little bit.
So we got to talk cars for a minute, right?
Okay.
You're from the muscle car era.
Yes.
I grew up wishing I was in the muscle car area, but I still have the love and the passion for it and everything else. All my friends are your age, man, 20, 30 years older than me. It is comical to me to see a guy that's about my age talk about a classic 87 Monte Carlo SS. I see an 87 Monte Carlo
That's
SS
modern.
and I go, there ain't nothing classic or cool about that, dude. It's a 305 or a 307 with a quadra-drunk on it. Nothing. But when I see stuff like this, we have to remind ourselves, this stuff is 40 plus years old. Yeah. And then we talk about the bike, and yet it's still running. And
it still runs.
I love every engine I build, but my passion for particularly shovelheads and some of the older stuff, it is amazing at how bad they can be, and yet still run. Right? I've torn some apart that I was fascinated with what I found. I rode the bikes myself, as we talked about, the one that had the 30 over cylinder with a stock piston in it. It's crazy. And it's always fascinated me about these older engines.
Hopefully this has no issues.
Hopefully it doesn't. We don't know.
We don't know until we
know.
tear it open.
So with my buddy Nick here, he knows this is going to be a very long project. And our goal with this is we're going to start with a teardown. I'm going to do a series every aspect of this bike. And as I understand, we're going tire to tire.
Wheel bearing to wheel bearing.
Wheel bearing to wheel bearing, baby. We're doing it all. And that means that we're going to be talking about everything from in play on wheel bearings. We're going to be talking about cases. We're tearing the engine down. We're tearing the transmission down. We're going to, it's a 4-speed kick and electric. We're going to look at doing a 5-speed, keeping it kick and electric. Every opportunity we can upgrade it.
If we can.
Yes.
If we can.
Every opportunity to upgrade while maintaining the originality, which is sometimes more of a challenge than people imagine. Yeah. So this series...
If it can be done, I'm at the right place.
My man. So, I mean, this... a year-long series or more?
Yeah.
Potentially. So we want to carry you guys...
Before I die.
Okay. Well, you better make it to 85, because it's going to be a while.
My wife says 103, but
103?
I tell her 85, and she's saying 103 because she wants to go at 90.
103.
I'm 13 years older than her.
I'd rather 103s weren't a good year. 117s are awesome. So let's make it a 117. So, guys, I'm going to start actually a playlist, all right? And if you don't mind, leave some comments for Nick here. This guy came a long way to be here. This is going to be a long project, and I'm so excited about it.
It was an exciting ride, even if I must say. It was a very exciting ride.
Very exciting ride.
If you don't want nobody to know where your bike is, you got to come here, because you'll never find it.
We're keeping it quiet, right? So this is going to be a long process, and I'm so excited about it because I don't want any detail, I guess, left covered, right? I mean, we want to go through this tip to tip, and there's a couple of reasons that I want to do this, and one particular reason I'm excited about my friendship and relationship with Nick here is often people don't understand and realize sometimes you can buy an older bike, and you think because it's an older bike that it can be an easy thing to cobble together and make it reliable. The reality is, yours being unmolested is a unique opportunity.
Right.
But the reality is, as bikes get older, there's also more opportunity for more hands to be in that bike. You've been riding for how
long? 50 plus.
50 years. Yeah. And you've owned a lot of bikes along the way. Yeah. So sometimes when there's more hands in, there's history that gets lost. There's changes that get lost over time. And to be quite frank, sometimes restoring a motorcycle can be more laborsome and expensive than it is building a crazy brand new bike.
Right.
Because you just don't know.
Don't know what you're going to get into.
And then as expectations change, we would like to have the same reliability of this old stuff as we have in the new stuff. And I believe better. And I believe it's obtainable. It is obtainable, and it's an investment of time.
Right.
And it's an investment of craftsmanship and passion for doing this stuff. And Nick, I couldn't be, buddy, when I got your email and you told me how much you love this bike and what you wanted to do, I couldn't have been more excited.
Right, I know.
And so I know you've been waiting over a year.
Over a year.
Just like the other folks that are dropping off bikes and everything to bring it here. And it's very special to me, as is special to you. And I can't thank you enough for driving all the way from up there.
Glad to be here.
All right, brother. Would you like to add anything to the YouTube world before we...
This guy's the best. You should know it by watching his YouTubes. I wouldn't be here.
Well, you're very kind. Thank you, sir. And guys, I'm going to start a playlist, and we're going to call it Nick's Shovelhead.
Shovelhead.
It's going to be CHUBBLE. It's going to be a Shovelhead. It's going to be Nick's Shovelhead, and we're going to go breakdown step by step along the way. Engine, transmission, primary, upgrades along the way. And what I hope to do is give you guys a perspective on how a Shovelhead can become an exceptionally reliable motorcycle.
Right.
And one of the key factors I hope that you walk away with this after this series is an understanding that, and I think this is a key point, Nick, one of the things I had asked for is an unmolested Shovelhead that is known to run well.
Right.
It don't run bad.
No, it runs great.
Right.
It runs great.
As with many of my engine teardowns, we often get surprised. Nick and I had a conversation about some of the surprises on these old engines. You can tear them apart and, oh man, what you find, but yet the bike still runs well. We don't know what we're going to find. So there's going to be some mystery involved in all this. And the reason I mention that, not just for myself as a builder and restorer of these old motorcycles, but if you choose to do business with someone else, we've got to keep that in mind.
Oh, yeah. Oh, absolutely.
There's a lot of very qualified, skilled guys out there. If you have an old bike like this, and there is an unknown history, which you don't have, maybe you have a problematic bike, which you don't have, all those things. Keep in mind, Nick is bringing me an unmolested bike that doesn't have any really known issues. So if you pull one of these bikes out of the weeds, out of a barn, whether you bring it to me or to another chosen mechanic or whatever, don't get mad at the guy.
Yeah, you don't know what you're going to find.
You don't know, and neither does he. So as with this channel, as Nick knows, I like to pull back the curtain,
Right.
if you will.
Absolutely.
Expose the honesty, the reality, the integrity of kind of this stuff. So if you pull one of these out of the weeds and you think it runs great, and then all of a sudden you've got your shop that you believe is trusted, et cetera, and he tells you, oh man, this thing's a basket case, give him time. Don't assume that he's
Trying to jack up the price. It's not,
that's the reality.
Yeah. You want somebody you can trust right here. And when it's done, you're going to be happy.
Exactly. So, and thank you for that, by the way. It's very kind of you. So, guys, again, please subscribe, and I'm going to start this playlist. And I'd like to really encourage you, that little notification thing that's at the bottom. Please click subscribe, and you click the notification and receive all notifications, because this whole process of a year's worth of videos on Nick's bike. Every time I post a video, you're going to get a notification that says, hey, Kevin posted a new video. Check this out on Nick's bike. And we're going to carry this from the day I put it on the rack to the day that you come and get it, and to the day that me and you spend a whole lot of time riding.
I still have to take it out for a 500,000-mile ride and bring it back.
Well, no, we're going to do that.
Oh, we're going to do that.
We're going to do that, because I'm going to hop on my Shovelhead.
Oh, okay. And we're going to do some riding.
And we're going to do some riding. We're going to
All
go
right,
through
good.
Middle Tennessee, and who knows, we might
Right.
go on a whiskey tour.
May end up Kentucky Bourbon Trail.
We may end up on the Kentucky Bourbon Trail, because I'm not going to lie. My friend Nick here did bring me a wonderful, wonderful bottle of
American honey.
American
Wild
honey, and
turkey.
it sure was sweet. Wild turkey, American honey, and it was wonderful.
It's the best.
Is there anything you'd like to add, Nick, before we sign off with these folks?
No, I'm glad to be here. I'd have rode 20 hours.
You damn near did.
I know.
You damn near did. Guys, I'm glad Nick's here. Thanks for watching. Thanks for everything. And hang on with this saga. Man, this is going to be a fun one. I'm hoping we don't have to do anything here. I'm going to try my best. But you know what? If we do end up having to paint it, yours might be the first tank in the paint booth.
It could be.
To get painted.
It could very well be.
Who knows? We're going to do our best. Nick, thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Guys and gals, I think there's a few.
There's a few out there.
I think it's about 5% of our viewers that are female.
And some of them might not even be telling you.
And some may not even know. I don't know. I don't question it anymore. Guys, take care of yourselves and each other. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. Thanks for everything that you do. Thanks for hanging in there with us. And for those of you that are, obviously, Nick, you see the bikes that are in here. We're tearing down bikes. Yeah. There's the infamous green tape up there. We've, parts here, we're working in cycles.
He's not a lazy man, I can tell you that.
Oh. Sometimes I wish I was. Sometimes I wish I was.
You're never going to be.
No.
I wished I could just sit back and relax, and I can't do
you're
it.
70. You look like you're 30 years younger than that.
Thank you.
I mean,
Thank
this
you.
guy right here, I'm not an Iron Man. This guy is. All right, guys. Thanks a million. Appreciate you joining us. And, this old girl, I can't wait. Nick, safe drive home, buddy.
Yeah, baby.
Y'all take care of yourselves and each other. Have a good one. Take care. You want to say good night, Nick?
Good night, Nick.
See you guys.